Look at that, you made it. This is just gonna kind of be a space where I talk about things that I don't want to talk about on the main channel. It's gonna be a little bit more laid back. I'm going to be talking about movies. That's probably pretty much it. These videos are gonna happen monthly, I'm thinking, where I just kind of go over what I watched in the month. I used to do this on the main channel where I would go through every album that I watched in the month. But yeah, we're doing it with film here, okay? I've been getting a little bit more into film, and you know, I got Letterboxd, so if you want to go follow the Letterboxd, go do it. First thing that I watched in September was E.T., okay? Now, I've seen this when I was a kid, okay? This isn't like my first time seeing this, but it's my first time watching it as like a fully grown, developed adult. And I will be honest, I was a little bit disappointed by it. I remember being terrified of E.T. when I was a child. I had like the worst nightmares where I would have E.T. chilling under my bed, and I would have these nightmares where every time I got out of bed, he would like, he would stick his hand out from under the bed and grab me and like pull me in. Either that, or I would run down the stairs. Okay, see, this is what can happen on the second channel, is I can just yap about random crap like this. I would book down the stairs, I would run down the stairs, and I'd be like taunting E.T. to come get me. I'd be like, come get me, you're never gonna catch me. And then, you know, every time he did catch me. I don't know what it was that I was so scared about with him. Maybe, I think, rewatching it, I think it was mostly like the creepy little finger and maybe his voice too, because he actually is kind of a cute little guy, you know, like they portray him as pretty cute in this movie. So I don't know, but yeah, the film itself I was a little bit disappointed by. I haven't seen too many Spielberg films. I've only seen Jaws other than this, so I'm not like super seasoned in terms of his films. But yeah, I felt like this was just a little bit bland in a way. Some of the child actors I wasn't a huge fan of, which kind of crazy to say because they're literally children, but yeah, I just felt like the story wasn't as engaging as something like Jaws, and I guess the pure directorial filmmaking aspect of it wasn't as engaging as something like Jaws. You know, it's a sweet little story, I guess, but like even the main kid, I was like, I found it hard to root for him, so I gave it 3 stars. Wasn't terrible. I mean, you have some iconic imagery in there, but just not really my thing when you compare it to Jaws. So next up we have Stop Making Sense Here, which is a concert film directed by Jonathan Demme, featuring Talking Heads, of course. I have heard 3 Talking Heads albums, I guess 4 if you count this live album. And yeah, I just had such a good time with this, man. This is the most fun thing I've watched in so long. Like, I mean, the music itself is great, but just seeing David Byrne and the band, how energetic they are, how eccentric they are, how much fun they're having on stage. I love how this entire thing begins, like it's kind of DIY at the start of it, and it slowly grows, it slowly gets more crazy as the film goes on. I mean, a lot of these tracks I'm not like familiar with, because I feel like a lot of them are from Talking Heads 77, which I haven't heard, but you have some tracks from Remain in Light, you have some tracks from Fear of Music and Speaking in Tongues as well. And yeah, the music itself is great, so it's kind of hard for me to judge this as like a film. I don't know if it would be 5 stars compared to like a traditional film, but I just gave it 5 stars because it was like max enjoyment. Like I can't imagine myself enjoying it any more than I did. So yeah, if you haven't seen this, please go watch it. David Byrne is freaking awesome, man. Him in that big suit is the funniest thing I've ever seen, bro. It's so good. All right, next up, I watched Full Metal Jacket on September 5th. I gave this 4.5 stars. Slowly kind of working through Kubrick's filmography. I've seen 2001, I've seen The Shining, I've seen A Clockwork Orange. I watched another Kubrick last night, which you'll see at the end of this video. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Am I forgetting one? I haven't seen Barry Lyndon yet. But yeah, a great war film from Kubrick. The start of this film is so unhinged with like the war general just having the most colorful language ever. I love how it just leans into him being the most unhinged person ever, and it kind of goes over the top at times, but it feels very effective in putting you in the shoes of our main characters. Very interesting structure to this, where it's like the first, I guess, almost half or maybe third of the movie is, you know, the training camp. And the way that that ends is very unexpected, and then it jumps into, you know, a time skip with us actually at war, right? And it's, yeah, I don't know, it goes into, I guess, the morality of war, the ethics of it in a very interesting way. It looks stunning. The last, like, 20 minutes of this film looks absolutely unreal. Couldn't believe how good it looked, and I was literally just watching it on my little laptop screen. So yeah, really liked this one. It's, I mean, I've rated all of his films pretty high, but it's probably top tier Kubrick, probably top 2 or 3 for me, so out of what I've seen so far. So yeah, next up we got Goodfellas. You know, I'm watching the classics, the stuff that I haven't seen for some reason. Obviously directed by Martin Scorsese. I've seen several Scorsese films at this point. This is a very fast-paced, energetic film. The editing is absolutely bonkers in this thing, but I kind of love it. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, that iconic intro. Ever since I was born, I knew I was going to be a gangster or something. Is that how it goes? I butchered that, but you know what I'm talking about. Ray Liotta is so good in this, man. He's a good-looking dude too. It's a lot. I wasn't like super sure of how I felt about it in like the first half an hour. The chemistry that these actors have on screen, the energy is just, it's just bursting off the screen. I mean, it really makes you kind of want to live this life, but not at the same time, you know, because some pretty horrible things are done at the same time. Yeah, so it's pretty great. I'm not like super into, I guess, gangster films, but it was pretty great. Next up was Burn After Reading, which is a Coen Brothers film. Again, another kind of director or directors that I'm trying to work through the filmography of, the Coen Brothers. I've seen several of their films at this point. This was probably one of my least favorites at this point. It's super funny. It's, when was this, 2008? Yeah, super funny. Brad Pitt is hilarious in this. Did not expect to see him in such a hilarious role. Some twists and turns that you don't really expect with this. There's like, the central antagonists of this film are like kind of confused by everything that's happening, and it feels like it's kind of meta in that way, where like the antagonists are like supposed to be the audience in a way, where they're like, you know, there would be a guy that would report to the main guy and be like, so here's the scoop on everything that's going down, and then he'd be like, and I don't really know why it's happening, which I thought was really funny. They kind of serve as like the straight man in this comedy. But yeah, this was great. What's her name? The lady from Fargo? I don't know what the actress's name is, but she's in this too. She's hilarious. And just a bunch of really interesting characters that kind of, all their stories kind of meld into one, which isn't like a super new thing that's been done before, right? But yeah, I don't know. I thought this was, I don't know, some of the humor worked for me, some of it didn't. It feels a little bit light and small scope, small scale, I guess, compared to some other Coen Brothers movies, which I guess is why I don't like it as much. But I could see why people really love this thing. I still gave it 3.5 stars, so definitely a solid film. Next up, I realize I'm like talking way too long about each thing here. Next up, Hitman. I was expecting to hate this because like Glenn Powell comedy, look at the poster. I saw it on Netflix. I'm like, this looks so dumb, but I'm kind of intrigued by it, and it actually was way better than I was expecting. I gave it 3.5 stars. Glenn Powell is surprisingly really funny in this. He is not an actor that I'm a huge fan of, especially after Anyone, or what is it called? Anyone But You? No, what is it? Why can't I remember the friggin' Sydney Sweeney Glenn Powell? That's how forgettable that movie was. You know, but he's actually pretty solid in this, playing a bunch of different characters. I think he really embodies each of these characters. I mean, his character, I guess, is playing a bunch of different characters, so there's layers to it, you know? Yeah, it's sexy at times, it's fun, it's, you know, there's some exciting moments. It is a little bit bland, so that's why I couldn't really give it higher than 3.5 stars, but for what it is, it's a fun time. Definitely better than I was expecting, and, you know, the ending is actually pretty fun too, so. Let's keep going. Superman, you know, I had to watch it. I've been putting this one off. I didn't see it in theaters, because I'm like, I'm not super into superhero movies, but, you know, gave it 3.5 stars, because I thought it was actually kind of a fun time, you know? Like, I know this isn't Marvel, I guess, but I know the superhero genre has been kind of in the dumps lately, but this feels like a nice breath of fresh air. I can't speak. It is a little bit immature at times, you know, James Gunn. Some of this humor is kind of ridiculous, like that one lady with her insane boobs, like just the way that is shot and framed sometimes, like I can't tell, is it just like James Gunn being like a little teenage boy, like, oh look at those, or is it more self-aware? I don't know, but some of the humor doesn't really work for me. But you know, what's the dog's name? Rocket? Is that what it is? No, Rocket? Is that it? Dude, I'm so bad at remembering characters' names. The dog is awesome. You know, David Cornsweet as Superman is awesome too. I love that guy. He's hilarious, and I think he plays his character with a nice sense of humor. You know, it's not like taking itself too seriously, which I guess he couldn't in this type of film. If this was like Man of Steel or something, I guess you would have to take it more seriously. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, the CGI at times is kind of a little bit rough at times, but I don't know, it has a bit more color to it than most superhero movies I've seen. So yeah, it was solid. Next up, Licorice Pizza, Paul Thomas Anderson from 2021. This was probably my least favorite film that I've seen from him at this point. You're gonna see some more PTA come up towards the end of this video, but yeah, I didn't feel super invested in our central relationship between this 28-year-old girl and this like 15-year-old boy, I think it is. I just felt like there wasn't much chemistry between the two of them, and maybe that's not what this film is going for. But yeah, I feel like if the heart of the film doesn't make me feel that much, then it might just kind of fall flat on its face. Not saying this fell flat on its face, I think it's still decent. It looks great, the production design is beautiful. This is what, 70s kind of LA. There's one character played by Bradley Cooper, I think it is, who's absolutely hilarious. I love that character so much. So it's definitely still has a lot of like color and personality to it. It just feels like I don't care about these characters as much as some of PTA's other films. So gave that a 3 stars. It was all right. Next up, we got Thunderbolts, another 3-star film here for me. That's kind of crazy to say. This is on, maybe should I put this at 2.5? No, it was all right. Speaking of, you know, superhero movies that feel somewhat fresh, you know, like this isn't great. It's, you know, it's a little bit bland. What it has to say isn't that groundbreaking. It's not saying anything that interesting, to be honest, but I like Florence Pugh. I think she's great in this movie. I think, why can't I remember my boy's name? David Harbour. He's hilarious in this movie. I think the whole the villain concept of the guy, what's his name? The Universe? Is that what it is? Or Sentry? The Sentry or whatever? Sentry Man? When he like fully succumbs to the darkness and like, you know, he's making people just vanish. It really actually was kind of horrifying in a way. Like I didn't expect a superhero movie to get that dark. I'm not saying it's like the most dark or edgy thing, but definitely darker than I thought it was gonna get. You know, the whole resolution of, you know, we need to face this together. We need to face our problems and our depression together. It's a little bit too cheesy for my liking, a little bit too obvious, but at least it's trying to do something. You know, at least it's trying to say something, which is more than you can give some superhero movies in recent years. So next up we got Sanctuary, which was crazy watch. I watched this purely for Margaret Qualley. I kind of got a crush on her, I think, so had to check this out. Yeah, this was interesting. It's, you know, it's a 2-person cast. It's you know, it's like a kind of a erotic thriller, I guess. Would you call it that? I don't know. Margaret Qualley plays this like dominatrix character. And then you got this soon-to-be owner of, is it a hotel company? You know, it's this rich guy. He's soon to inherit his family's company, and he uses this dominatrix to kind of obviously knock himself down and diminish himself. Some crazy shit happens in this. I feel like it thinks it's smarter than it is, this movie. But it does get to an interesting point where like the lines are being blurred and you can't really tell what each character is after. You can't really tell what the dominatrix is after. You can't tell if she's just saying something to manipulate him or if she's honest and earnest about it. You can't tell. Well, actually, she's really the one that's harder to read because she's obviously the smarter character in this movie. But he's pretty easy to read, which I think serves as a lot of the comedy of this movie, is him just being dunked on, bro, because he's this dumb little rich guy. I actually love where this movie ends. I thought it was gonna go a different way, and the way it ends is actually, you know, it's sweet but twisted at the same time, and I thought it was a bold ending that I wasn't expecting. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed this. You know, it does get a little bit tiring because I don't know, just this two-person cast just being isolated with these people does make it feel a bit longer than it is, but yeah, for what it is, I enjoyed it. 3.5 stars. Next up, we got Punch Drunk Love by Paul Thomas Anderson, of course. Came out in 2002. Adam Sandler. Who else is in this? Freaking Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, I loved this. I gave this 5 stars. This is my favorite movie I've seen in a while. I loved Adam Sandler's performance in this. I think he plays this awkward, kind of almost terrifying, semi-violent character in a really interesting way. He really, you know, I think the idea of this all-female household that he seemingly grew up in is very interesting, and that's what a lot of his insecurities come from. His sisters are kind of unhinged in this, so it kind of makes sense. So I love Adam Sandler's character at the heart of it, Barry. You know, it's a tight, like 90 minutes. It absolutely flies by. It's one of PTA's shorter films. I love the kind of trippy, colorful, psychedelic moments that happen sparingly in this as well. They feel like a nice breath for the film, but it also feels like there's intention and meaning behind those as well. It is just a story of two people that, you know, are absolutely drawn together. They cannot be apart from each other, and you have this interesting, like, kind of side plot of, you know, this phone sex company trying to like scam this guy. You get one of the greatest like scenes I've seen in a while between Adam Sandler and Philip Seymour Hoffman, both on the phone, but also when he goes to that guy's business, the mattress company, and when Philip Seymour Hoffman goes, "That's that." That was one of my favorite moments I've seen recently. It was so good. Yeah, I love this thing. It feels like there's so much detail put into it, and I can't wait to rewatch it. So, Punch Drunk Love, 5 stars. Let's go. So sick. All right, next up, you know, everybody's talking about it. One Battle After Another, you know, PTA's newest film. I gave it 4.5 stars. I saw this in theaters on Friday night. It's currently Sunday night when I'm filming this. This was great. I was a little bit scared going into it. I'm like, because, you know, anytime something is so hyped up, I'm like scared that it's just gonna not click for me. But yeah, this clicked for me. It doesn't, I guess I'll say my one thing about why I don't think it's a 5-star film. It doesn't feel like the characters in this are as interesting as the characters in his best work, in my opinion. Like, Leo's great in this, but I feel like his character, he just feels like more of a normal person, which maybe I guess that's what PTA is going for. Even the daughter here just feels like more of a, no, I wouldn't say bland, but just they're more normal people, which I feel like is, again, what he's going for, but it does lose a little bit of excitement for me compared to some of his other films, like Phantom Thread, where you have Daniel Day-Lewis's character that is just such a nuanced and interesting character, and I guess part of that is his performance, but I feel like it's also written to be that way. So some of the characterization here feels a bit underwhelming, but that's like my only nitpick about this. The rest of this is absolutely fantastic. The last like 20 minutes with the rolling hills, the car chase in the rolling hills, that was one of the times I've been the most excited in a theater ever. Like, that was unbelievable, psychedelic, just what a way to film a car chase. You know, Sean Penn's character in this is disgusting, and he absolutely crushes this role. He's so gross in this movie. Tiana Taylor's great in this. Chase Infinity, is great too. This is like her first film or something, like one of her first things she's ever done, which is crazy. Leo's hilarious in this. Benicio, is that his name? Benicio del Toro. He's hilarious too. I love the whole sensei thing with him and Leo. I love their chemistry on screen. And yeah, I guess this feels like more of a, maybe more of a watered down PTA, but like, you know, it feels like it can appeal to a wider audience, but it also doesn't really sacrifice what makes his stuff great. It still feels very PTA, so I loved this thing. It absolutely flew by. I know everybody's saying that it flew by, but it's like nearly 3 hours, and it felt like maybe just a bit under 2 hours for me, so I loved this. I think it's deserving of the hype. What I watched last night, Eyes Wide Shut by Stanley Kubrick. Again, like I said, I'm trying to kind of work my way through like these iconic directors, and I felt like I should check this one out. It's kind of it's a super long, kind of trippy, psychedelic kind of nighttime mystery, erotic thriller, I guess we can call it. Yeah, I feel like I'm still sitting with it, so I don't have super developed thoughts on it. You know, it's 4 stars because I found myself getting a little bit tired of this movie, and maybe I just wasn't fully honing in on the details of it, but I think the whole sequence near the middle of the film where Tom Cruise's character goes to this like underground kind of sex devious party in this like huge mansion, that part was unreal. I was so locked into that part because the music was so hypnotic. I mean, you had naked people everywhere, but it was just like the way it was shot, the way it was edited, it just felt like a beautiful little devious island in the middle of this film, where the rest of the film felt like it was, you know, diving into this relationship between Tom Cruise's character and Nicole Kidman's character. But this little psychedelic moment in the middle of it had me absolutely locked in. And I guess, you know, it's a film talking about lust, you know, wanting to, you know, that want to kind of not be committed to somebody. And it almost feels like a drug in this film, where it's like just calling Tom Cruise's character, like anytime he interacts with a woman in this, it's like, it feels like he's just being pulled, you know, it's like this magnetic pull that's happening to him. It's a topic that I didn't expect Kubrick to cover, but I think he does it in a really interesting way. Just not one of my favorite films from him, but again, I only watched it last night, so I have to sit with it a little bit more. So there you go, Eyes Wide Shut, 4 stars. There you go, that is what I watched in September. So yeah, I'm gonna do these every month. I kind of just want to talk about things that I want to talk about. You know, I've been thinking about talking about film for a while now, and I was like, hey, if I want to do something, just gonna do it. Even if this gets no views, it's on a second channel that has like 100 subscribers, I don't care. I just want to challenge myself to talk about this.